time for Higher or Lower with Cynthia Freeland. Of course, this is the home version of everyone's favorite game. We set the bar. Cynthia tells us what her simulations and calculations and computers and Skynet and whatnot have come up with, and whether it's higher or lower. And this week, we're looking at season totals, Cynthia. So first up, it's Aaron Rodgers. 35.5 passing touchdowns, coming off 48 last season. Is it higher or lower?
It's higher. We have 17 games this season. We got an Aaron Rodgers who's angry. MVP quality season last year, 37 seems a bit low. Remember, a lot of the simulations actually are kind of a lower average because they take into account a lot of different game flow situations. So this number could be even higher. I actually think he could potentially yet again lead the league. Right now I have Mahomes, then Rodgers in terms of number 1 and number 2.
Another great season for 12. Next up, Kyler Murray, 690 rush yards. That's 125 yards less than a year ago. He also scored 11 times on the ground that year. Higher or lower, Cynthia?
Please circle the higher for Kyler Murray. I actually think his rushing yards from last season to this season, even with the extra game, are going to be about the same. 822 is nearly the same as last season. Why? I do think they're going to get more of the play action style going and actually throw the ball. I think that'll keep Kyler Murray from getting and sustaining as many hits as well. So for me, this one, it's way more than 690, but not more than last season overall.
Way more than 690. What about DAndre Swift? He's got Anthony Lynn now in Detroit. Higher or lower than 52.5 catches?
All right, so we're going to circle higher here, and then we're going to put like a little asterisk, because obviously we're going to monitor the situation with his health here. Because if he's not injured, or if he's injured and he's not playing, this isn't going to happen. I love Anthony Lynn. I think Anthony Lynn is a brilliant running backs coach. There's not a lot that I like about the Lions, let me be clear, but I think the running back situation and the opportunity to be very creative in the scheme and get those passes for DAndre Swift is one thing that I feel very, very certain about. By the way, I have to get in Deuce Staley there too, because I love him as well. So the running back situation might be, and TJ Hawkinson, the only thing I like about the Lions.
Hey, Cynthia likes something about the Lions. That's the breaking news to me. Well, next up, Mike Davis, who changes addresses in the NFC South from Carolina to Atlanta. Higher or lower than 1,100 scrimmage yards?
Okay, so we're going to go lower, but we're not going to go crazy lower in this one. When you look at the scrimmage yards, you have to remember, they still have some pass catchers' mouths to feed, like that guy Kyle Pitts that we talked about, like that guy Calvin Ridley we already talked about. So it's less about his ability to add in the pass catching game. I think it's more about what he does on the ground, and I think that on the ground number 1,001 is where the projection kind of nets out. It could be more. This is one that I think, though, it's pretty good. Around 1,000, it's going to be a nice, solid season for him. But don't overestimate what you saw in preseason. Never do.
Let's get to some receivers in, Cynthia. A.J. Brown could reap the benefits of Julio taking some coverage away from him. Higher or lower than 8.5 receiving touchdowns?
Let's go higher. I think the interesting part about this offense as a whole is that you have to remember football is complementary, meaning if your defense has some question marks, then your offense needs to light it up. And that's the situation I think we find ourselves in here. Plus, A.J. Brown gets the benefit of defenders being distracted by Julio Jones. Oh yeah, there's still Derrick Henry here as well. So I think that actually makes the projection better for A.J. Brown in terms of touchdowns. 9 is kind of the median projection. Again, that could be more than that. I'm very bullish on A.J. Brown. We've got to get more stock terms in here.
All right, more stock terms, more Odell, hopefully healthy. 73 receptions would put him close to his averages in 18 or 19, higher or lower?
Avert your ears, Todd Mossberger. It is lower. It's not significantly lower, though. It's about 70 receptions for Odell Beckham Jr. I think the reception situation for Cleveland, this one is kind of the reverse of what I said last time. This defense has gotten significantly better, and this is a run-first offense, which just means they're not going to need to be throwing the ball quite as often. So it is not about Odell not having good talent or falling off, blah, blah, blah. You can just push that aside. This is about game script and being a ball control offense, meaning leverage Nick Chubb, leverage Kareem Hunt in the ground game.
That's tough for Moss. He has no choice but to listen. He can't avert his ears. Let's get to some tight ends here.
I know.
The first one off the board in every fantasy draft on the planet is Travis Kelce. Higher or lower than 10 touchdowns?
Well, I have higher, so go ahead and circle that. I have 12 receiving touchdowns forecasted for Kelce. That is very well worth that first round ADP. I love what Marcus is saying about the value for him relative to his position. I'm totally on board with all of this. This offense is going to be super fun to watch. And I think, yet again, this is going to be the most valuable player on your fantasy team because there's no substitute that quite gets you to that number.
And last but not least, the rookie tight end, the unicorn, the guys who are going to revolutionize the position, Cynthia. 800 receiving yards, higher or lower for Kyle Pitts?
Well, higher, because obviously you were taking notes on that earlier section I talked about with Mike Davis. So I think there's going to be a little bit more passing going on. I know Matt Ryan likes to pass the football. Where does Kyle Pitts land? Well, he's basically a possession receiver. Look at him come high point that ball, pull it down. He's not going to let other people in the red zone kind of get in his way. So that's why that number is 830. That is a ridiculous number for a rookie tight end, and it's going to get nothing but better. I'm super excited for this guy's career.
Yeah, let's set some ridiculous expectations, because the record for receiving yards for a rookie, 1,067 by Mike Ditka back in 1961. So yeah, Kyle, just go ahead and do it. Just break the record that stood for a billion years.